along with the other people whose qualification to teach English was just that they had a degree and were native speakers. We were sent on a crash course in colloquial spoken Egyptian Arabic. It lasted about 10 days. And it was really state of the art, really hot stuff for 1974, okay? So it was taught by native speakers, not nests, because they were native Arabic speaking teachers, nasts, I suppose. And everything was spoken. There was no writing, there was no explanation, there was no grammar, and there was certainly no translation. Okay, very state of the art, very hot. But this is 36 years ago. Okay, and it was a kind of precursor of communicative. Wasn't even a buzzword then, but it was kind of communicative in lots of role play. So we spent all our time being, you know, waiters and diners and bus conductors and passengers and people who can't find their way to the station and all that kind of thing. But we were not allowed to ask for a translation or an explanation. I found this really frustrating. There was a sequence of sounds in this spoken course that I heard, and to my shame, I'd never heard it before. Things were a long time ago. The sequence of sounds sounded to me something like inshallah. Okay. So I was very puzzled. What did this mean? Okay, but wasn't allowed to ask for a translation. So only outside the classroom, where we could be really communicative and use the real language of communication, because these teachers spoke very good English, okay, was I able to say to one of the teachers, could you tell me what this means? By which I meant, of course, can you translate it? Okay. So he said, yeah, it means more or less perhaps. It means something like perhaps, okay. This is actually a very interesting sort of sign of the times. You know, this was a guy who'd grown up in Nasser's Egypt, I suppose, and less, well, anyway, but we won't go into all of that. He said, yeah, it means perhaps. If you want to say perhaps, you say inshallah. Okay. And then he added as a kind of afterthought, as though this was not really relevant to me, he said, well, actually, it literally means if God is willing. Okay, but you don't need to bother about that. As far as you're concerned, it means perhaps. This is a kind of functionalism, isn't it? You know, all languages do the same things and everything means the same, okay? So, fine, I just thought, fine, that's okay. Shame you couldn't have translated it in the class, I thought, but okay.